technology, big data and AI technology. Let me briefly introduce what I'm doing now. Actually, as I told you, I think the day before yesterday, I briefly introduced myself. And I studied psychology for my undergraduate, and then did my PhD in psychology too, but I moved to computer engineering after that. And then I did my undergraduate and graduate work in artificial intelligence. From 1980s, a long time ago. And then I also had my PhD in philosophy with the AI focus. And then moved to Korea to be a professor in a business school for 7 years, and then moved to medical area. And so I was one of pioneers who initiated one big project in Korea on EHR, electronic health record system. And at the time, actually, we didn't have any EMR or EHR at the hospital environment. And then I was quite interested in doing my research on biology, so I moved to bioinformatics. So now I'm doing a lot of research with big data from NGS, next generation sequencing, and single cell RNA and proteomics and even epigenomics sequencing data. And then what I found is that actually my specialty is in two different approaches in artificial intelligence, meaning that on one hand side, on one hand side, we have a tool to integrate all different kind of heterogeneous databases with the structured data called ontology, to link all different heterogeneous data sets. And then the other side is that actually we have tools on numerical analysis with deep learning or now LLM, large language models. So we have some kind of environment to analyze the data sets or generate good sentences or multimodal visualization tools or even voice recognition things. And all different things together. So what I found is that actually data is very important to link all different areas of studies. And so we have some kind of multi-agent systems to utilize all different kind of AI-based tools in different areas. So I'm not an expert in biology, medicine, or anything. But what I found is that actually data can be a very strong tool to integrate all different kind of data sets and provide very good analysis. So for me, actually I have nothing to do with ecology, but now about 10 years ago, I have been involved in some kind of activity in Korea we call People for Earth. So I came to be aware of all the different problems that we face in this Earth. So I decided to be more involved in ecological activities like you. And you are an expert, so I'm a supporter to help you to do a lot of things. So that's why actually Young-Sung Kim, Dr. Young-Sung, where is he? He's not here. Okay, he asked me to provide some presentation with AI and database, big data, but I didn't have prepared for that because I'm an expert in ecological informatics. So I decided to reorganize my thought about a new paradigm of education in ecology with some kind of philosophical background. So that's why this is some title that I prepared for today. And recently, about 4 years ago, I have been leading a big project funded by Korean Ministry of Education in the big data area. So I just came to be aware of the new education system from Korean side. So we have about 18 different consortiums. I'm a leader of one consortium called Big Data. And we 7 universities combined together to provide new educational environments. The funding size is quite big, and about 10 million US dollars per consortium, meaning that we have about 200 million US dollars per year, including all the 18 areas like semiconductor, new energy, ecosystem, and drone and everything. So what I found is that I became a leader of 80 consortiums in Korean society. Now, actually, we are building up some kind of network education system, meaning that we remove all the barriers of universities, and students can take all the courses from different universities to get credits. And also, I modularized all the conventional courses like 3 credit hours, 50-week long courses into 50 minutes units, so that all the online video can be combined together like Lego block to create new courses. So it will be open up to the world. So I think, and also we have a very nice AI tools for personalized learning. And I think this is a very initial stage to change the new old paradigm of the education system. So I think I want to get some attention from you to build some kind of ecological school in the future to make all the people in the world be aware of what kind of problems we face on the earth. So I think this is a part of thought that I can say will be very useful to this society. Okay, and I will start begin with this title: exploring a new paradigm for ecological education. Ecological education is not just to teach and learn new things. This is something about some philosophical thought behind it. So I will start with some reality check. And this is some kind of outdated one, 2018. So the world ranking record here, like what is it? Like you see, California, Hong Kong, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan. And so we already, sorry, okay, I will stay here. Okay, that slide is already outdated, but you already know that we have more serious problem nowadays. Okay, and this is also a little outdated, but you see the difference between the landscape of glaciers in Ecuador, and this is another thing. So we already have very bad situation now. See, 2014, and I don't think we have anything left. So let me begin with some views on nature and humans. You know Plato, Aristotle, a long time ago. And in Western philosophy, you learn a lot about Western philosophy from Plato to even Enlightenment and also modern philosophy. But there is one stream of line in worldview that we feel that is a major thought. Plato, as a realist, divided into 2 things: body and mind, or something that exists in idea, in the form of idea. And Plato, as a realist, has a totally different view. And the particular thing is real. And the universal concept is something that can conceptualize what we see in the physical world. And Descartes is a very important person, a dualist. And he also divided in things in the world into 2 things: mind and body. This dualistic approach is very important for modern science and industrialization, meaning that we have seen humans, for example, as separate from and also superior to nature. And this is a very important approach in scientific world nowadays. Enlightenment, for example. Descartes' worldview reduced all phenomena to mechanical motion. Animals, human beings are just mechanical. And it became the foundation for the development of Western nature science in the 17th to 19th centuries. And now we have some problems recognized on the Earth. So science and technology cannot make us happy, and we see a lot of problems. So we need some kind of alternative view of human thought. So this means destruction of nature, climate change, and also disregard for life. So what kind of a new paradigm do we need? And so we can look at the eastern part of thought. Okay, as already you know about this philosophical background. So reductionism is something that to reduce some phenomena into smaller parts of things to get a better explanation, like science. But in my area, actually, for example, I try to integrate all different layers of data sets, like clinical layer and also let's say proteomics layer and microbiomics layer, microbiome, and also metabolism and proteomics. So we put omics at the end of the science field. So omics is the whole body, but we need to we do not know how to integrate different layers of data sets because the phenomena of our body is so complex. So the linear reductionism, linear causation, causality is not good enough to provide a better explanation of what kind of phenomena we see on the body. So I'm specialized in multi-omics integration to provide a better explanation on the phenomena that we have inside the body. Okay, and transcendentalism is another thing, ecologism. We call ecologism. I will talk a little bit about what kind of thing it is. And self-organization paradigm called autopoiesis. Have you heard about autopoiesis, the concept? So I will talk a little bit about that. Buddhist worldview and ecologism, deep ecology. And Aaron Ness, who is a Norwegian philosopher, advocates a new theory of ecology, new paradigm, new perspective of what ecology should be. Okay, let's begin with the very famous Eastern philosophy Laos. And so, according to Taoism, and it's called post-anthropocentrism, meaning that nature cannot be seen separate from heaven, earth. We cannot divide anything into two different things like mind and body. Heaven and earth are one. And this kind of non-dualistic worldview says that all beings are equal within the Tao. Nothing exists in isolation. So all the things that should be considered to be relationship centered, not as entity centered. So this is one thing. Wu-wei, what is wu-wei?
Well, it's non-action.
Okay. Non-action, without any desire. Non-action. Rejecting willful action driven by possessing human desire. And instead embracing natural, innate, longing rooted in the Tao. Okay, and ecological characteristics of the Tao is that nature is not a static state of harmony and balance, but a constantly shifting flow marked by disorder and fluidity. And also qi, the concept of qi, the notion of qi is in its chaotic, undifferentiated state. On the ground of all potential being, the Tao is the origin of all generative activity. So this is a very core concept of Eastern part of worldview. And so from here, we have from Western philosophy, Western part of the thought, deep ecology, autopoiesis theory, and Gaia theory came out on top of influenced by Eastern thought. And like Tao and intrinsic value. Actually, deep ecology is something that everything, being and a living thing and a non-living thing, also have intrinsic value in it. So what is intrinsic value? So utilitarian approach on seeing the world or nature has a problem, poses a problem. So according to Taoism, the realm of non-being, like for example, there are two things. The realm of non-being, the realm of being. The realm doesn't say that they are two different things. Realm is just a realm, two aspects of seeing the world. So the realm of non-being has a value as such, meaning that it has intrinsic value beyond evaluation. And the realm of being, according to Taoism, non-constant Tao, and named, we call union in Korean pronunciation, with desire. So, so it's kind of a value ascribed to reality. I have some more clear description of this one. Okay. So Laos also distinguished between being, the named, desire-filled world, and non-being. The formless quiet essence of modern society is obsessed with being. So we just have the projection of all the beings. We have a constant desire to possess everything. So all the ecological problem came out from this kind of desire. So I think everybody knows about that. So we should shift from projection-based or desire-based approach to a relationship-based approach when you look at ecology or nature. So environmental problems arise from excessive desire. Buddhism, the same. So everything is connected to everything. So it's called, let's say, codependent arising. So me, when I was third grade, I remember that after school I just came back home and then knocked the door and I called somebody, mom, and the lady called me my name Honggee, and then I felt very awkward in being called Honggee. And yeah, she was my mother. And the relationship, I thought about who I am. And I tried to remove all the features that I have, student, my age, my gender. Without that kind of thing, I was nothing. So from that point, I thought that I'm just, my being has a value only in relationship with other things. I don't exist without considering my relationship with other things that surround me. So this was my enlightenment when I was third grade. So ecological equity and all these things, as you see, this is a Buddhist idea. And intranet, you heard about intranet. We have very small light in the temple of Indra, who was the strongest god in Hinduism. And the light is very small, but when all the lights in the temple or the palace are connected to each other, then the light is very strong. So this is the main idea of Hinduism. So the relationship is the core idea. Okay, so we should recognize that one's actions are deeply connected to nature, and that their effects eventually return or leads to profound reflection and personal transformation. What is the personal transformation? I will talk about later. And Nietzsche he argued against the errors of science and technology from long time ago. And so he criticized reductionism for reducing nature to mere matter by emphasizing objective laws. Instead, he calls for the naturalization of the human, reintegration of humanity into nature, and recognizing the world as a holistic unit. So what kind of holism compared with the reductionism in science and technology together? So this is something that I'm very interested in doing my research in my lab too. This is another thing. Whitehead is a very important philosopher. He was the inventor of process philosophy. And he has three different concepts: actual entity, prehension, and nexus. Nexus is something that, like as I told you, my being has a meaning only when I recognize all the relationship with the other things surrounding me. So actual entity, this is actual entity. Actual entity is nothing actually. We don't have that reality realm according to this guy. And Whitehead, according to Whitehead, everything should be understood in terms of being prehended. Like, for example, I saw a cat out there, so that is actual entity as an animal. But that cat has a meaning only when I see the relationship with that cat. Like pet is prehended, not as an actual entity that exists out there. So nexus is a more complex, can say, network of all the relationships. So nexus is the real, more real things according to Whitehead. So he emphasized on relationality, not rationality, relationality, interdependency, and reality as a process, not static matter. And he provides some kind of alternative view to mechanics thinking. And this is another guy, Fritjof Capra. I met him in Berkeley. And according to his, actually a long time ago in 1980s, I read his book. He's a physicist. And I read book Taoism and Modern Physics. That was some kind of pseudo science. So I didn't like him. I liked his idea, but he didn't publish real journal papers because he was not very serious in scientific research. So I didn't like him, but recently he published a book called Systems View of Life. That was published by Cambridge Press. And he became a very important person in providing a alternative view of holistic view of science, actually. So according to him, modern physics grounded in the theory of relativity and quantum mechanics has dismantled the mechanistic worldview of modern science that emphasizes reductionism, objectivism, and linear causality. So material existence is understood as part of a greater integrated whole and is therefore inherently relational and interdependent. That is very similar to Buddhist idea. Henry David Thoreau, he also is very famous as a transcendentalism. And unlike the mainstream focus on labor and success after the Industrial Revolution, he emphasized inner richness over external success and advocates for self-sufficient, simple living. And also he valued a life in harmony with nature. And and also another person in America, Bookchin, he is a very, very famous social ecologist. And he said that ecological problems originated from the injustices within human society systems of domination and exploration must be addressed. Industrialization and the state are key drivers of climate change and ecological destruction. So I think most of you here are scientists, but we have to see what kind of a social injustice problem arise before we do research on or with the scientific tool. So this is something that we have to 5 minutes left. Okay, I'll finish. Okay, another thing that I really want you to look at, and Nobel winner, cybernetics. Cybernetics is some kind of systems approach. System is something that is a collection of interconnected components working together toward a common goal. And in 20th centuries, all the sciences came out of this kind of world view, systems view things. And so computer science, for example. So computer science is based on systems view. And deep ecology, Adam Ness, is a very important person in ecology society. So he was a philosopher. In 1973, he emphasized ecological equality between humans and nature. He just advocates that all the things have intrinsic values, not from utilitarian perspective. So he said that we need to make a very good definition of echo instead of ego. Okay, autopoiesis Maturana Varela. And I encourage you to read this book, The Tree of Knowledge. And he defines the feature of living things in terms of continuously, I can say. Living organisms is a self-producing system of interacting molecules. These molecules produce the system, and the system in turn produces the molecules. And I think their idea is very unique in making a good definition of what life is. So there is no consensus definition of what life is. So I think, as an ecologist, I encourage you to read this book too. So Gaia theory, love loop. The Earth is a single planetary system that includes all living beings, humans, and the atmosphere, oceans, and soil functioning as one interconnected whole. This is another thing. But there should be some distinction between environmentalism and ecologism. Environmentalism, according to environmentalism, we can solve environmental problems while maintaining existing social structures. And ecologism emphasizes the relationship within the Earth system and highlights interconnections and context among all living things. So we need some kind of ecological education paradigm. And ecological sensibility, healthy self-development, and spirit of coexistence and creative problem solving. That is not easy, actually. We need some kind of training curriculum to educate this kind of system in detail. So I will skip all the things since I don't have enough time. So anyway, self-transcendence is also a very important concept in ecological education. What this is. So we need some kind of we have to live with the ambiguity and uncertainty. Very important. So we try to remove all the things very clearly in a clear-cut way. So to solve some kind of climate change problem, we need this kind of scientific evidence. But we have some kind of uncertainty and also ambiguity. We have to live with ambiguity in a sense. Imagination, art, and we also have fate, death, and mortality. That is also a very important concept. So we cannot remove all the ecological problems at once. So we have to live with the climate change in a sense. Okay? And so ecological literacy is also very important. Ecological literacy refers to the ability to understand the natural systems that sustain life on Earth. And so there are many traits of the ecologically literate person. We have to have the understanding of the systems view, as I already mentioned. So knowledge of interdependence and concern and responsibility for ecological relationship. And ecological thinking consists of many different components. And scientific thinking, we have some kind of rigorous scientific method, and also systems thinking, and spatial thinking, temporal thinking, and creative thinking. And So according to the Western side of philosophers and thinkers, we have this kind of evolution, and I don't have enough time to talk everything. Okay, so ecological education in Korea, we have several important examples that we have in Korea. So especially in primary and secondary schools, we have some good examples of the educational systems in the forest. Now the last one, examples of ecological life using AI, and this is my area. So, you know Gaia 1.0, so self-sufficient Earth environment, and Gaia 2.0 was initiated by a philosopher, French philosopher Latour. Latour, you heard about Latour? And that was published in Science several years ago. Let me briefly summarize his view and okay. So let's briefly look ahead, because ecological education isn't just about going back to ancient wisdom. It's also about learning how to responsibly use the most advanced tools we have ever created. Big data and AI give us unprecedented capabilities. With the satellite imagery, sensory networks, and machine learning, we can now monitor global ecosystems in real time, track illegal deforestation, measure carbon flows, even predict biodiversity collapse. Philosophers Bruno Latour calls this moment Gaia 2.0. Is the idea that Earth is no longer just a self-regulating system. Now that humans are aware of their impact and have the tools to intervene, we become co-responsible actors in maintaining balance. This is powerful, but it's also dangerous. AI can help us live within planetary boundaries, or it can help accelerate extraction and inequality. So ecological education must now include data ethics, digital literacy, and planetary thinking. In a way, this brings us a full circle. Taoism, self-organization, autopoiesis, Gaia theory, these were early visions of systems intelligence. Within AI, we now have tools that mimic or model these systems. The question is, will we use them with humility or repeat the old patterns of domination? So Gaia 2.0 invites us into a new kind of ecological literacy, one that blends wisdom and computation, care and calculation. And this is my conclusion. To wrap up, we need a shift in how we think, feel, and teach about nature. And ecological education isn't just a subject. It's a whole new way of seeing the world and living in responsibility. Okay, and let me close my talk with the quote that I got from Friedrich Kaplan in his book Systems View of Life. He said that evolution is no longer seen as a comparative struggle for existence, but rather a cooperative dance. I like this expression, cooperative dance, in which creativity and the constant emergence of novelty are the driving forces. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hong. Unfortunately, we did